I'd like to call to order the meeting of Monday, September 26th, and if you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The clerk would please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Lamb.
Here.
Councilmember Mosherak.
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Here.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Here.
Mayor Rep.
Here, you have the minutes from the regular meeting of September the 12th. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Any discussion, changes? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes will stand as submitted. Before we get into public comment, I just want to mention that Nancy Windsor will be sitting in for the city manager tonight. He wasn't able to, due to illness, able to come to the meeting tonight, so welcome. And we'll move on to public comment. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council, please come forth and give us your name, and you have 4 minutes.
Good evening, council members and mayor. My name's Ken Harris, live at 1521 Wells Street in Port Huron. I'm kind of privileged here tonight because over the weekend I've seen some very nice things that happened in the city of Port Huron. I don't know how many people really know it, but there's a movie on at the Sperry's Theater right now that was partially produced by a resident of the city of Port Huron, hockey player from Port Huron. His dad grew up playing for the Port Huron Flags, and that's Steve Bannatyne. I don't know if you're interested in documentaries or not, but it was a well-produced film and stuff. It's not a boom and socket to me and nothing like that. But it's a lot of good facts, and I really think that if anybody wants to see something about what's really going on now, and it kind of made me look at Google after it because you know, the bobble on the whole idea how this hasn't completely disappeared. One ship's in dry dock and the other one burnt down, but it's having a rehabilitation. So the history's not dead on that issue yet. So secondly, I'd like to recognize the, the Laborers International Union, Habitat for Humanity, and the 40 or 50 volunteers who rocked the block over on the east side of Port Huron over the weekend. It was really nice. It kind of shows you, you know, we have a bandage approach to fixing things, but this group come in there on Saturday morning, and there was a large group of them, and they replaced porches, they replaced steps, they took down brush, they just did a phenomenal amount of work in a little bit of time. So something that I thought would be recognized. The last thing I wanted to kind of brag about, and I know the input on this isn't due till October the 10th, is the fact that we have over $330,000 of CDBG money that needs to be reallocated. So basically my comment is the fact that speak up now, because if you don't say anything, it won't be on the record. So if you got ideas where you can spend this money, you can look it up on Google, the parameters around it, but it's a lot of money, and I don't like to see us give that back. And last but not least, I guess it's kind of a question on the city manager's item tonight and stuff. I understand this license reading program and stuff that he's bringing up, and it's kind of a good thing, but the only thing that stood out to me was the annual fee of $62,000. And I hope council will ask that question, what are we going to get for that annual fee?
We will be asking that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council? Please come forward, give us your name, where you live, and you have 4 minutes.
Julian Ruck, 1423 Lapeer Avenue, Holly's Place. I think we all remember where we left off last time. But to continue the story and not leave us on a cliffhanger, about an hour and a half after Freed left the property when he visited last, Councilmember Lamb showed up, and it was awesome. We walked around for about 45 minutes. I gave her so far the most extensive tour to anyone in this body of the garden, explaining how my goals aren't just ending hunger. It's not just teaching people how to garden, but how to teach the whole community how to reallocate their own organic waste, leaves, grass clippings, cardboard, into their backyards and growing their own food. It's my long-term goal that we actually have free food farms for the local businesses here as well, where they can go there and get dramatically lower their food costs by tens of thousands of dollars a year per business by having access to these free food gardens. It's a lot easier to do than I think people realize. And when you walk around Polly's place, you can go, oh, wait a minute. You don't have any irrigation out? You're not tilling? You're just setting these raised beds up, and you can literally just throw seeds in all directions in the spring and come back a few months later and eat? It's really that easy. So, thanking Councilmember Lamb for coming for a visit. Also thanking Councilmember Ashford for her visit. I'd like to see, there's still some time in the season to see any of you out there so I can show you what I'm talking about. But if you're unable to make it, we're gonna show you anyway. We just started a brand new nonprofit, the Harrison Point City Initiative. That's where we take the 50 blocks known as Harrison Point and begin to treat that neighborhood as a city within a city. There's some gentrification, the beginnings of gentrification happening in this community, and I've lived in cities many times larger than Port Huron, though I grew up here, and I've seen it happen, so I know what to expect. And Harrison Point City Initiative is a nonprofit for that neighborhood to build resilience within that neighborhood and community so that people who have been here for generations won't be pushed out. Now, it is my belief that City Manager James Freed, that is his agenda, to push poor people out, lower real estate costs, and have people with money come in. And I've just seen that that really just causes crime, violence, homelessness. In my life, in the past 20 years living around the country, I've seen it. And that pushing out of poor people ends up sitting on the shoulders of the police officers. And we're supposed to be making this community safer for them, right? So the better option is to raise up the communities. So beginning in the spring, one of the first things that nonprofit is going to offer the neighborhood is free garden installs. And beyond that, we'll buy whatever produce they don't consume. With that produce, we're going to make added value product and then sell it as the nonprofit to then put that money right back into the neighborhood. There's a lot more to it. Unfortunately, I only get about 4 minutes at a time every few weeks to deliver, which is probably about 2 hours of information now. So I'm also open and available for group meetings. I'm still going to be in town for a while this season. The garden's still going. Salad fixings for another month or two. There's a lot to talk about, and we're here to help.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening?
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Fuchs. I live at 750 15th Street, and I am excited to be here. Council members, Madam Mayor, Madam Acting City Manager, thank you, everybody, for allowing me to come up here, give my 4 minutes. He's a big dreamer, isn't he? He's a huge dreamer. It's wonderful. I have known him since I was about 19 years old. And I just want to let everybody know that he is as genuine as he seems, and that is why he dreams as big as he dreams. He is just determined to make this work. And I have supported him all the way. I just think what he's trying to do, feed people, teach people to feed themselves, is a really good thing. And I hope you guys can find a way to get behind it, can find a way to help make it work. I was there when James Freed was there, and it really, it started exciting, and then it got less than hopeful, because he started saying, we can't, and he just talked about roadblock after roadblock, instead of saying, let me think of a way that we could. And I'm sure that you guys working with local businesses and other places have said, we can find a way to make it work. Yes, there's obstacles in our way, but we are going to find a way to make it work. And I know this is different. I know there's, quite frankly, as far as you see it, there's no money in it for you. And these other businesses, there were. But this is about making people reliant on themselves. This is about allowing people to do good in here. This is about wanting people to stay. People don't want to stay in this city a lot of times. And it's sad. Because this could be a really, really wonderful place. It is a really wonderful place in so many ways. But there's some things that keep people away. There's some things that keep people just on the other side of 32nd Street. There's some things that keep people just on the other side of Craft Road. One of those big things, and Madam Mayor, you may not remember, you and I had a tiny little tiff on Facebook about this, where you guys are charging 1% on the income on the people who live here, and 0.5% on the income on the people who don't live here, who work here. Is my opinion that should be flipped. The immediate consequence of that would be that more people want to move into the city. Now, that may cause a tiff with some landlords. That may cause a tiff with some people who want to keep only certain people in the city. But man, if you grow the population, this place could be everything. It should be everything. It should be what it could have been when I was a kid growing up here. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the City Council this evening?
David J. Whitmore, 1129 Pearl Street. I just wanted to introduce myself to the council. I'm running for mayor against the current mayor, and let you know, I'm not a politician. I'm not even politically correct, but I feel someone has to run as an opponent and give an opponent an opposite view. You know, we can't just sit here and all be a big club and be yes men to the current city manager. And basically that's, I don't mean to insult you, but that seems to be the way it is. And I plan on running, I plan on winning. And when I sit in that chair, I'm gonna listen to the people, and what they tell me they want done, that's what I'm gonna do. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to address the City Council this evening? Seeing no one, I'll declare public comment closed. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Moserak. And we will take a vote on the consent items.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Moserak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Mayorette?
Yes, there's only two items on the consent agenda. Approving the qualified licensed establishment Senor Tequila Mex Restaurant into the Port Huron Social District and recommending applicant be approved by the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, and approving the scheduling of a public hearing for October the 10th to receive comments on two substantial amendments to the 2019 Annual Action Plan and the 2022 Annual Action Plan. And we will do City Manager number 1, please.
Accepting the quote from Flock Group Incorporated in the amount of $70,900 for for the lease and installation of 24 automatic license plate readers and authorizing the annual renewal fee.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Mosherak. Could we have the police chief talk about this?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You've all been briefed on the flock system prior to the meeting. And so, I mean, I can go through what I've got. I can answer any questions. I can tell you our success stories since our 60-day trial period.
That would be good, right there.
The success stories.
Yes.
So within the 60 days, we've recovered 5 stolen vehicles. The first day that the cameras were up, we recovered a stolen vehicle out of MSP Brighton. Unfortunately, we recovered the vehicle. The person that stole it went down to Algonac, stole another vehicle, and but was arrested in Clay. So there is a success story there. We recovered a stolen auto out of Croswell, Michigan, with a wanted juvenile in it. There was a stolen vehicle out of the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office with 4 individuals that were taken into custody. And we had 2 stolen autos that were recovered in Port Huron. The last one was just last week. An individual unfortunately left his vehicle unlocked. He left his keys in the car. The vehicle was stolen, but within 25 minutes we had the person in custody due to this system. A couple months ago, or within the time period, we had a hit on a vehicle for an elderly missing female out of Livingston County. The family was in town looking for this female because from the Livingston County Sheriff's Office, they were pinging her phone. So within 30 seconds of that vehicle entering the city of Port Huron, we were able to locate it. We conducted a traffic stop. And with that, the family actually happened to be driving by, seen us, and goes, "That's our mom." So they stopped by. We were able to reunite the elderly female with her family. She didn't know where she was at. She didn't know she was in Port Huron. We had a domestic strangulation where a subject strangled the victim, and within several minutes of the crime taking place, we were able to locate the vehicle and take the person in custody. Just last week, there was a shooting over in Pontiac with a person wanted and the vehicle wanted. It was entered into the flock system. Our officers located the vehicle, conducted a high-risk felony stop, took the individual into custody, recovered the vehicle, and actually the Oakland County Sheriff's Office was in town looking for this. So we were able to turn the person and the vehicle that was wanted in the shooting over to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. And not only are we getting good success with wanted vehicles, persons that are wanted, last week we also had a bomb threat at a local factory. Right away, the workers at the factory indicated a specific suspect that was possibly involved in this. Lieutenant Young actually entered the vehicle into the flock system. Within 10 minutes of the incident occurring, we located the vehicle, and we were able to determine that this person was not involved in this incident. So there's something that showed that where we would have spent many hours knocking on doors, conducting surveillance, and attempting to locate this person, we were able to locate this vehicle very quickly and be able to determine that this person was not involved in that bomb threat, and we were able to refocus our efforts towards the actual investigation. So these are just a couple of the success stories that we've had. I mean, there's over 25, and our officers are using it on a daily basis. Again, our officers have to have a reason for using it. You just can't run a plate and say, "Hey, I wonder what my wife or boyfriend is doing." On their plate. There has to be a reason. There has to be a complaint number, and all that stuff is audited once a year, if not more. We have a policy in place regarding what our officers can and cannot do. There are severe consequences if they improperly use this system, just like the LEAN system, the Law Enforcement Information Network. We've checked up with our corporate counsel. There's no violation of the Fourth Amendment. These are all placed on public property, facing public streets. So there's nothing that's intrusion on private property. And there's 30 other agencies in the state of Michigan that are currently using the system. You've got the Michigan State Police, you got the Detroit Police Department, you've got the Oakland County Sheriff's Department, just to name it, a few of the big agencies. Right now in St. Clair County, we have 4 agencies that are currently using the system, and there are 2 more that will be coming on board hopefully within the next month or 2. So I have other questions I can answer, but that's what I currently have for you right now.
Can you just assure the public that it's not being used for plates to see if they were speeding down the road or something like that?
The system is not. So what it's doing is it's facing public streets, and it's gathering plate information. So we're gathering plate and vehicle description. So it'll grab the license plate, it'll grab the vehicle description, and it can actually pick up like on bumper stickers or things like that off a vehicle. There's no facial recognition. These cameras are not being used for writing red light tickets or speeding. It's not being used for any of that to generate revenue. That's against the law in the state of Michigan. So it's strictly to assist law enforcement agencies, our officers, with the investigations. And it's proven within the 60 days, like say with at least the 25 that I can mention, how successful it's been.
Does anyone on council have a question?
Mayor, Chief, I think I remember this correctly, but for the public's, when this is taking the picture of the license plate, it's just sitting there until you put something in. It's not automatically uploading and seeing if it can tag that license plate to anything that's out there that maybe you haven't caught them for yet.
No, it's in putting the data. So we might have a vehicle like the Oakland County Sheriff's Department had information into the system regarding the license plate and the vehicle. So when that vehicle entered the city of Port Huron, it hit off the flock system that we have. But if you drive by us in an intersection, let's just say Huron and McMorran, and you go there, it'll take a picture of your plate, it stays in the system for 30 days. If we don't have any investigative information to go forward with, it drops off the server. So for 30 days it stays there, and then it disappears. And again, the officers have to have a reason to run the plate. They just can't go, well, I want to see what Joe Platzer is doing tonight, so I'm going to check out what he's been doing. No, they have to have a reason, complaint number, and the system is being audited and monitored by our supervisors on a daily basis.
Anybody else? Questions?
Mayor,
Yes.
Chief, I just think it's important during our briefing, which I thank you both for, very informative, just the overwhelming success, not just in our state, but nationwide, and you guys were prepared to give us examples, and I mean, the success is overwhelming, so let's hope that it continues here. So, thank you.
This is only 60 days worth, and we're keeping a spreadsheet, and we're updating it constantly with information as to the success and what it's being used for, and our crime analysis is sending this information out on a monthly basis to our officers. I'm excited because the other 2 agencies that are coming aboard, that'll cover the whole St. Clair County. And then we've got agencies in Macomb and Wayne and Oakland, and it's been a huge game changer for how we do law enforcement in St. Clair County and the city of Port Huron.
Anyone down here have a question?
Yeah, not so much a question. I just wanted to commend and thank the lieutenant there for such a fine presentation and dealing with the details of it. You know, you gave us a big picture and then gave us a detail, and also the prelude of looking for or waiting on anticipated results, which you just shared with us. And case in point, this whole flock system, it cuts out the waste and it puts you guys back on the track to do the job you have. And as a person of a color, we were wondering about throughout the states, everywhere, you know, read about it before there, that was it going to be a part of racial profiling? You know, you got a camera and then place, and just like you said, those cameras are placed to the plates, not to the person up there. But right away, when you think the flock system in this camera, you think, well, that's racial profiling, but that wasn't the case. So I just commend you, and I like the results, you know, that it produced. And so you did what you said it was going to do. And so what we're looking for here tonight, we're going to lease it. Is that correct?
Correct. So we're going to lease the cameras, because that way they keep up with the technology. If a camera goes down, they come out and replace it. If we have an example of that, 2 weeks ago, we had a camera in a certain location, and we were trying to assist the sheriff's office. The camera wasn't placed correctly, so they came out, repositioned it, and put the technology out there that we needed. So with that, they'll keep the updates, they'll keep doing what we need to do, and then it'll just be on a yearly basis.
Oh, okay. So another piece of tool that certainly sets us up to, fight into what we have to do as far as keeping people safe, and also not just the people, but you guys also in your efforts to, help fight crime. So thank you so very much for all what you do.
And what you mentioned too, Lieutenant Young's the project coordinator. He deserves all the credit on this. I mean, he's the one that did all the work, handled all the meetings, gave the presentation.
Yeah.
So my hat is off to Lieutenant Young.
Yep, you did an excellent job. I mean, you just cut through the chase, and I hate to listen to a presentation where you're going on and on. I thought, okay, right, let's finish here. But you just got right to the point of what we needed to know. And at our level too, you didn't try to do all that, but appreciate it.
Any other questions?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Pemberton.
Chief, you actually spoke on the main question that I had, that I'd been getting from folks when they, saw cameras up, wondered what was going on. Are they going to get tickets? I think the two main questions I was asked is this constitutional? Which you already said we did a Fourth Amendment check with legal counsel, that there's no violation of privacy here. And then secondarily, are we going to be writing people tickets, right? Those were the two most common questions I got. The other thing that I think would be interesting to see, and I don't want to add extra work or reports to anyone's job, but when you and I were talking about this the other day, I think it'd be interesting to see a year from now, as we have our whole spreadsheet of success stories, to have a column of man hours saved. Because my guess would be, just in a little bit that we've talked about, the half dozen to a dozen items that you listed there, you saved a whole day of 2 officers' man hours on surveillance and trying to hunt something down that 10 minutes in the system, a quick conversation solved. It'd be interesting to see the cost justifies, and maybe if there were a need for more cameras or anything like that, as we go in the future. It'd just be interesting to see that number a year from now too, because I bet you it's huge.
We can definitely track that, because that's what we're doing right now with the spreadsheet. I like more cameras, so I'll remember that.
I figured I'd put that one in there for you.
And when you mentioned like violation, I mean, it's no different than me going out here tonight and standing on a street corner with my phone and taking pictures of vehicles going by. So, like I say, we've checked with our corporate counsel, and we've checked, and there's no violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Great, thank you.
The annual fee, just because it was brought up earlier, that's a normal fee for maintaining the software, et cetera, am I?
Yeah, so the original fee that you see, the 70, I don't have it in front of me, but the 72,000, that's for the installation, the cameras, and then 8,000 of it drops off because it's a one-time fee for the installation, and then the 62,500 will be the
Annual charge.
Annual charge, and then, like I say, that'll be us calling them up saying, hey, camera number such and such is down, or like we did last week, this camera at this location needs to be readjusted. They came out and they did it and fixed our issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I don't think there's anything else. No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Resolutions, number 1, please.
Approving the contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for the reconstruction of Gratiot Avenue from Elmwood Street to Garfield Street and Gratiot Avenue from Garfield Street to Holland Avenue.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Lamb. I wonder if is there an explanation for this, please?
Mayor and City Council, as you know, this project was pushed from last year to this year. The bid was over the amount, and I know Eric and his team went back to MDOT and the feds to get more money for this project, and Eric's here today if you have anything Any other questions in regards to this?
Well, I know that it was pushed, and it's certainly nice to see it's going to happen now. So a lot of people have been waiting for that. Does anybody have any questions for Eric Witter?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Councilmember Ashford.
Eric thought you was gonna get away. You were sitting there.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
No, I was just, Eric, what I was gonna, I know the federal aid part is 2,521, 747 here. In the city, we are at 1,668, is that correct?
That's 1 million.
Okay, so the whole total is that. And then when I got down into the whereas, the project also includes 2,576,000 of ineligible costs. So that's the cost we assume that as a city?
So the 2,576,000 is the ineligible cost because the Federal Highway Administration, they don't care about the utility infrastructure. So as part of doing the roadway, we looked at doing the utilities, the water mains from 1892, the sanitary sewers as old in some areas. So the $2.5 million is the ineligible cost. It's the sole responsibility of the city.
That sounds okay. And so the only point I'm trying to make, here is that, so sometimes when we see that, right, federal aid is kicking in and all that, which is understandable, and it's on our part to be grateful just for that piece, even though the part that is ineligible, we have to do that anyway with this process.
It's the best practice to do. So you're not putting,
Yeah.
$4.2 million of the payment down and then out there with a main break the next winter or whatever. So it's maximizing the dollars. It's taking advantage of federal funds to reconstruct the road to do utility improvements at the same time.
Right, and that's the point I was trying to make. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's no other discussion. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, item 2.
Approving the proposal with DLZ Michigan Incorporated for engineering services to complete the 2022 bridge safety inspections of 7th Street, 10th Street, and Gratiot Avenue bridges.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Councilmember Pemberton, supported by Councilmember Mosherak. Is there any discussion? I assume this is just our regular bridge safety inspection contracts?
So it
Yes.
looks like,
Mayor and City Council, this is done every 2 years, is my understanding, and this is the only game in town
Yes.
that does this type of work. Eric, again, is here for questions if needed.
Any questions?
self-explanatory.
We will take the vote.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, item 3.
Approving the agreement with Fishbeck Incorporated for engineering services for the design and implementation of 3 projects at the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a motion?
Support.
You got a motion first?
We didn't have the motion.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Would you like to make the motion?
Yes, I would like to make the motion.
Support.
I'm looking at you like, okay.
That was, I kind of wasn't sure if I heard that quite right. That's okay. We have to have some humor once in a while.
It was so cute.
Perhaps, I don't know if anybody has any questions on this one, or
Is this,
Eric wants to explain it.
was this bid, or is this the only bid?
Let him get back up again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What was the question again,
Oh,
Councilmember?
it just says, is this a bid job, right?
No, so this is
it's
for
not.
professional engineering services. So
Oh, okay.
the city advertised and sent 6 firms for proposals based on our RFQ process, request for qualification, that are already on file. We got 2 back, and 3 staff people reviewed the 2 proposals and recommended Fishbeck for their services.
Oh, okay, so it was sort of like a bid. I was thinking about.
Every
that.
two, yeah,
That's what I
every
was
2 years we go for pre-qualifications, and we select firms out of that pre-qualifications for
Right.
disciplines that we might be going out for services for.
Oh, okay, so there were two, and
Yes.
this is the one that we fish back, is what we
Yes.
got. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Guess you can sit down again. If there's no other discussion, we will take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, item 4.
Approving the updated agreement with Harris Restaurants Incorporated for food and beverage service operations at the McMorran Place Beer Garden.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Did you have anything to add to it?
This is basically a continuation of the contract that we have now. We've had a lot of success with the contract so far. We've been very happy with the branding, with the support that they've brought to McMorran. And so basically this is just a continuation to the existing contract.
Is it, I forget, is it open-ended at this point?
Yes,
then?
but
Yeah, no,
either party can terminate at any time, but in case he's been very good to work with as far as that goes, always staffed correctly, always, available for questions, and we've so far have had a very good partnership there.
Well, I know it's been very successful.
Yes.
Is there any questions?
So the cost that we get from them is under the management costs and services at the McMorran, so that's how we bring in money to go with the McMorran coffers,
Yes.
so to speak. Okay.
Yep. We take in all the revenue, and then we pay them the management fee.
Okay, good. Because I didn't want to think we was out for free, because
Yeah.
people say you having these people in there, what are you doing for McMorran? So that is what we're doing.
And we have made a profit off of this.
Yeah, we have profit. Yeah. I'd like to see that sometime in the near
Yes.
future, see how
And I mean,
that breaks down.
and not only that, but the bigger picture has been,
Getting people there.
I mean, if you've been downtown
Yep.
at all
Oh,
on a
yeah.
Friday or Saturday, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing the
Yeah, I've been
people,
there.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just been,
Yeah.
I think, a huge asset for downtown Port Huron. So,
No question, it's
So,
been a huge
yeah.
asset, but at the same time, people
been
cost
asking about
money
that.
too.
Yep.
Okay, all right,
and we can get
Yeah.
that information for
all right,
sure.
that'd be good.
Yes,
And just to
Councilman
note, I'm sure everybody's seen it, but City Manager Freed did send us out an email giving us the end of summer numbers, which were very encouraging and broke everything down for us and gave us all that. So that was very much appreciated.
Yeah, I just been on the scope, not just us, we have served people, I want people to know. So, that's where I'm coming from, yeah.
Okay, if there's no other discussion, we will take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 5.
Authorize the McMorran Place Commission to request funds from the Community Foundation of St. Clair County in the amount of $53,353 from the McMorran Fund to be utilized for the purchase and installation of kick plates and a portable ice lock dashboard system for the McMorran Place Plaza Ice Rink.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Boy, we got all those.
Oh, I was just being quiet. As long as you move it in a meeting, move it and get it out.
I think you did say, you did make the motion, though, did
Yes,
you not?
ma'am.
And I switched to support, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when's this gonna go in? When are we having an ice rink?
Well, I have Rob here today to explain some of the
Okay.
ice fun.
Yeah, we don't want the snow.
I know.
I don't want the snow or the cold, I'm just asking.
Some of this is for the inside of the arena as well, but Rob will explain.
Good evening, Mayor Rupp and Council and Ms. Windsor. So I agree with you. I'm not really excited about getting cold again, but we are putting the ice in McMorran Arena right now. But we do plan on having this ice surface, being it all parts come in on time. That's why we need to get this moving forward. You can see we have the ice plan already there, and then we have a rollout mat that will go as well. These boards will actually surround that ice mat
and it'll have a clear look on it so you can actually see through it. We won't, there won't be any hockey or anything that will be played on there, but it'll be for open skate, and it'll be a support area for people to walk as they skate around that aren't real proficient at skating. But the plan is for the Thanksgiving Day Parade to have it open that night.
Oh, that's nice.
That'd be cool.
And then we'll have it open through the winter to somewhere in February every year.
Are you going to rent skates?
We are going to rent skates, yes.
Are you gonna have those things that people that can't skate like me, so I could pull it around on there?
We may have some of those available, yes.
Did you? Okay. We just talked about that. Did you? Yeah.
We did just talk about
Yeah. And Mayor, I would just like to say, the reason we're taking this resolution, like authorizing the commission, that they can't pay for it is because that's the way you guys are set up. You can't exactly apply for grants and stuff. Is that what that is?
Yeah, this is part of the McMorran endowment, and
Yeah.
we get a certain amount each year, so yes, we have to.
Yeah, you have to go through those
Request it.
changes and request
Correct.
that, yeah. And Rob, you're doing a fantastic job too. I want
Thank
to
you.
tell you that.
Thank you.
With everything over there.
We're lucky.
We wouldn't have all these people down here and all this other, people can have visions, but people that do the work behind the scenes, you're sort of like unsung hero. Yep.
Just remember, behind the scenes, I have people behind me too.
Well, all y'all behind the scenes, but I mean, just shout it out.
I agree.
Yeah.
Santa can skate on
Here we go.
skating
There you
to
go.
the,
Yeah, I'll be looking for my little thing too when I get over
Perhaps
there.
making dreams come true.
City Council Day.
yeah, there you go. Any other questions for Rob? Thank you so much. If there's nothing else, we will take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, item 6.
Approving the allocation of American Rescue Plan funding to the Port Huron Museum in the amount of $41,630 for the purchase and installation of 2 new boilers and associated equipment at the Carnegie Center.
Is there a motion?
So moved?
Support?
Councilmember Pemberton, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Is there any questions on this?
There's no questions, but I do have a comment. I know we've been getting, reports from the director, Veronica, and also from James, where the donations have just been piling
Yep.
in on this. And so is that money just sort of like in the reserve or something? I know that with the free money, American Rescue Plan, there's other places that probably need some monies too, but I guess what I'm really asking is all that other donated money, is that just, I guess you can't answer that,
Well,
can you?
I mean, I can kind of answer it to say that I assume that, they're always, we're getting donations, but I
Right.
know that the donations
Have
have
doubled, tripled, she
increased
said.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I know that they've always had things to maintain there, and obviously new exhibits, so that money is going back into the museum. They've always went after grants and things like that, so I do know that those monies are going back into
Back
that.
to-
And since the city owns the building,
Right.
and they've done a lot of significant work to the HVAC, and I think this is the final piece to that HVAC system. And so, since the monies were available, and we are responsible for the building, that's where. But those monies, I'm assuming, are going back into
Right.
the programs.
Yeah, just sitting on outside, just like a double potted thing.
Yeah.
You have that and you can have it, but if you have something free on the side that you call free, the American Rescue Plan, then you can do that. And then you're over here, you're getting donations from people, and where is that allocated or earmarked for, And then we have a lot of other people over here expecting money from the American Rescue Plan, and so that's,
I do know they still have a lot of expenses between
Yeah.
staff, maintenance of the building, and, like the exhibit, so.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'm assuming that's
Yeah,
what.
it's just kind of like a
I
thing.
think you have to look at it as 2 different things, because one is the building and one is the operation of the
Yeah.
museum, and they are not one and the same. We own the building, so we
I
have
know.
to keep the building up. So what they get as donations goes to the operation of the museum itself, not the structure, but museum programs and all of that. So,
Well, I guess we can buy that.
yeah, because they are 2 separate things.
Yeah, I know they're 2 separate things, but donations are donations, and when they had it in that one pot, I have some kind of thing with it. Museum, I know what that was. I'm just talking about the access of monies, you know, and how we move them. Anybody can move money. That's all I'm saying.
And if it's anything different, I can make sure that
No,
James
you
reaches out.
answered,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, no, you answered.
Okay. Is there any other questions on this item?
Mayor,
Yes.
might be a good time because we've gone through the summer and we've made such a dramatic move in terms of the museum. They have new board members. Some former council person who's on there as well. New perspective. It might be a good time to review and see where they're at, so there are no questions down the road.
I agree.
Let's remember that we were on the verge of deciding whether that building was going to come down at one time.
Yeah.
So here we are, just making sure it's there, and it looks like it's another jewel in the crown we have of all the
Yeah.
museum pieces, so it might be nice for an update.
I'll pass it on.
I like that.
Okay. Anything else? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, and that concludes our regular agenda. We don't really have any announcements, but I would like to mention that just before we had the council meeting tonight, we went at our Spirit of Port Huron Awards program over at Huron and presented awards in different categories, so I kind of like to just say them publicly because I think they deserve all the recognition they can get. Brotherhood was Harbor Impact Ministries. Civic was Blue Water Garden Club. Economic Progress was Steve Fernandez and Michelle Jones for the Port Huron Country Style Market. Heroism, Justin Zip. Youth Service, Holly Harris. And Lifetime Achievement, Lynn Sikori. So again, I think that those were all very worthy nominations, and they did receive their awards this evening. Is there anything else to bring before the council?
Well, let's thank Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
made it.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
and you know what? You can tell James that you got in and got out. And that was,
And that was, he's probably watching TV.
I'm sure he is. Hello, James. Anyways, if there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Meeting adjourned.